Alright, so getting into this third round here, we did have J-Series able to save any hopes of an all-kill from Sneaky Little Green Men, and it will be the mirror matchup. So for Team DBC here in the finals, we have J-Series now tying things up at 1-1, and playing Mono Black Control for Team DBC. And again, his opponent, Sneak Attack Kid, going to be trying to keep his team in this. And he is also playing Mono Black Control for Sneaky Little Green Men. All tied up. This will be a very interesting match. You know, both of these players very familiar, and again, running basically the same list. I do call this the Sneak Attack list for good reason. We'll have to see what, if anything, comes of this. As I said, in my personal experience, it oftentimes comes down to basically the ability of one deck to top deck over another, one deck to, you know, discard things out of an opponent's hand, such as we see here. It looks like he is going to take out a dead weight. It's going to be, like I said, a very interesting game, because you'll come down to discard between both opponents, kills for both opponents. And J-Series a little bit of an edge as things start off here, because he is at least familiar with what Sneak has in hand. He has a general idea here. You see, unfortunately, though, it was Swamp, 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 Deadweight, Chittering Rats. So he knows at some point in time he's going to face that ability from Chittering Rats, as J-Series is going to be able to, you know, hit that third land drop easily. Canceling it, I guess, out a little bit with that Sign in Blood, but it is at least going to kind of negate that, at least one card, because he's going to have to skip that. Sorry, gonna keep getting sidetracked. These two players, very friendly with one another, have obviously the same clan there, but more importantly, that they're running kind of the same list. It's like definitely a mirror. You want to talk about mirror? You're looking at two very similar players running very similar lists, very similar attitudes. Echoing Decay killing off that Chittering Rats, kind of nice. Echoing Decay is one of the weaker spells in this particular match, because your opponent is running the same creatures as you. You kind of have to watch out and remember that when you kill off, you know, one of their creatures using Echoing Decay, you're also going to be killing off your own creatures with the same name. So really a slow start here. Both players, looks like J-Series hitting his second Sign in Blood, Sneak Attack hitting his first, and another Duress coming out here, targeting down, obviously, Sneak. We'll have to see what he pulls off here. Kind of interesting. It's something you do not see from a lot of decks. Most Mono Black Control, obviously, I have my own issues with the Mono Black Control today, as they're on a very heavy Gray Merchant Corrupt package, which I think is incorrect. But what you do see out of these particular lists is the use of main deck Duress, which you don't really see that often. And it works decently, it shores up some things. We see Crypt Rats coming out from Sneak, and you see in his hand as well a Deadweight and a Shinobi. So J-Series knows that if he doesn't put out a blocker here for Crypt Rats, he's probably going to be looking at a Shinobi coming his way. With a full hand, though, I imagine he's got some kind of answer for that. Probably will let Sneak, you know, attack, waste the 4 mana to make the play on the Shinobi, and then kill it. Unless he puts down a creature. If you put down a creature here, you basically prevent the attack. No, actually, I take that back, because Sneak has enough mana to kill off whatever. With that dead weight, is going to be able to kind of keep things in line. So Rager's going to come down. He is going to, I guess, chance it. Unless he has a dead weight of his own for the Crypt Rats, or was hoping to find one. But I imagine here from Sneak we will see dead weight into Ninja. Swamp comes down, dead weight. Attack on the Crypt Rats. There is no blocker. And no answer for J-Series, so he's going to be forced to discard 2 cards. Did he not have a kill spell, maybe? That's unfortunate. That could be definitely an advantage here for Sneak. But, you know, again, he's still got a bit of a card disadvantage going on. J-Series is going to have 4 cards. Sneak at 2. And there goes a Witches and a Polluted Mire. So at least 1 extra land in his hand. Witches would not be a kill spell either. Up to 5 now. Without a blocker or a kill spell, he's going to be forced to discard another 2. Down comes an Unearth into Rager. Possibly still looking for a kill spell, but at least has a blocker going on here. That Chittering Rats is going to be devastating to Sneak, who's already down to 2 cards in hand. So Crypt Rats coming back down, possibly just trying to empty cards out of his hand to prevent any kind of use on those Crypt Rats. I'm sorry, the Chittering Rats later on. You know, it's a very interesting thing because in a lot of cases you want to kind of hold back a swamp or something in your hand to easily throw away, especially in the first game to a Ravenous Rats. But when you do that, you're basically leaving yourself open for that Chittering Rats. Kind of one of the best counters for Chittering Rats is not having any cards in hand to put back on top of your deck. So we'll have to see what J-Series... You feel like he's got to have something with 4 cards in hand. Some kind of answer or something going on here. Definitely important to note that he does have a bit of a life disadvantage at this point. That's important because we do have a Crypt Rats in play. Another Rager going down. Sneak could take the opportunity to activate that if he so desires. Looks like J-Series not going to try and push him into using it at this point. But he has to be careful as far as how many creatures he's going to pull down, trying to obviously bait out the activation on the Crypt Rats. Sneak Attack might just be sitting back on it, though, looking to kind of refill his hand and kind of solidify his position in this game. Crypt Rats is going to work essentially like a standstill here. A little bit of thought going into this from J-Series. Again, being at 10, he's looking at least 6. If Sneak can, somehow stall this to the point where he's got 10 swamps on the field, we will see, obviously, Crypt Rats activated for the win. But I would be surprised if it comes down to that. As I said in the last game, one of the things you do have to kind of keep in mind in these particular cases is that with Crypt Rats, you do have the ability to draw a game. One of the few cards in Pauper that can do that. And it'll create a draw and basically... take you out to a 4th game. So if you're on the verge of losing, you can definitely kind of save yourself. So an attack here coming from J-Series, leaving back obviously 1 Rager, so he could jump block the Shinobi if Sneak decided not to block, but he does, and is willing to go down a little bit of life and not activate those Crypt Rats just yet. So which is coming down? Interesting. Okay, so deciding to wait a little bit activates the Crypt Rats for 3. Or, I'm sorry, 6. Oh, and that's going to be game Unearth unless he has a kill spell for that Crypt Rats. Even then, I don't think that matters because Crypt Rats, yep, that's going to be game over. Sneak just pulling out a win there. I thought he was definitely on the ropes even though he was ahead on life, but you are looking at a matchup between 2 players running the same deck. Unfortunately, I guess for J-Series, the fact that this is kind of Sneak's deck, it's what he has played in daily events. He's very familiar with it. And again, one of those successful grinders that we see in Pauper a lot. So as far as sideboarding goes, both players could try and take advantage. I wouldn't be surprised if we didn't see a couple of tendrils coming in from both sides. Something that will draw out the games a little bit more, keep both players in it, putting them obviously out of range of those Crypt Rat wins. But we're looking at almost identical sideboards. Maybe we see the use of... they're both running 3 copies of Wrench in mind. We might see the use of additional discard being an option for these players as they try and, keep their opponent out of kill spells. We definitely may see that coming in. Shrivel, I don't think, has a lot of benefit here. It obviously is going to kill off some things, but I would be surprised if the players left in stuff like Ravenous Rats, which would put that out of range. We might see, because J-Series is actually running... No, they're running identical sideboards. Are they just running identical decks? 3-1. Yeah, these 2 players are running literally identical decks. I did not actually notice that until this point. So this will definitely be interesting. You want to talk about a mirror? It does not get any more mirror than this. Winning this game is basically going to come down to player experience and a little bit of luck of the draw. So we'll have to see what they can do. I imagine, I'm going to give a little bit of an edge, obviously, again, to Sneak here in the third round, simply because it is kind of his deck. I think he's definitely got the experience, but I'm not going to count J-Series out at all. He's played a lot of matches, a lot of different formats, and to be able to be successful in multiple formats like that, you have to have a very solid understanding of the game in general, and make several good plays. So we're going to get started here in the second game. And we'll see a little bit of luck come into this as well. I see Measle here watching because it may come down to him. If J-Series loses this match here, then that will put his team behind 1-2, and he will have to come in to try and save it for them. Could be an interesting match. I think Delver does have a little bit of an advantage against Mono Black. That's personal. Ooh, Sneak dropping to 6. That could be the advantage that J-Series needs to pull out this win. Oh, and drops to 5. Okay, we talk about experience, but there's a little bit of luck when it comes to that mirror. And obviously starting with 5 cards in hand puts you at a disadvantage versus an opponent with a full hand, especially in an exact mirror. Oh, but no early discard from either player. That's going to be kind of nice if you're Sneak. Early discard here would definitely be troublesome. Having to drop down to 5 cards and then having to see a duress or something like that. Ooh, Chittering Rats. Not quite discard, but it will keep him off a draw. So Verdict coming in, getting that off the field while he has nothing else to sacrifice to it. But could definitely be troublesome. We see the ability to, ooh, alright, going to cancel it a little bit off that Baronmoor. If J-Series was able to land some early discard here against Sneak, that would definitely capitalize on the fact that he had to drop his hand down, and another Jittering Rats coming in, and probably another kill spell. Yes, another Verdict, like Deja Vu up in here. So, kind of negating the one loss of a draw thanks to that Baronmoor, but hitting another one and now down to 2 cards in hand. And it looks like a Crypt Rats. I'm guessing he top decked into that based on his comments here in chat. We'll have to see what J-Series has. Probably some kind of kill. Is going to draw some cards off of Sign, which is nice. It's always nice in the mirror to have more cards than your opponent, without question. Baronmoor coming into play. At this point in time, I mean, if you're taking a chance on putting those into play as opposed to cycling them, it means that you're building up the mana base for a Crypt Rats later on. Ooh, and Wrench in Mind will help a little bit against that early draw that we saw. Unearth, bringing back Crypt Rats. Okay, going to obviously be a very strong card in this particular match. We'll have to see. Okay, Rager coming down. J-Series dropping now to 15. And possibly a kill. Yep, a Verdict will clear that board state. So Sneak in not a very good position. Obviously ahead a little bit in life, but you're sitting across from an opponent with a 1 card in hand versus your none. You're in top deck mode, and you will at least hit a Rats, which is going to keep J-Series off. This is going to be kind of a fast game, apparently. Has no cards in hand for either player. 1 card in hand for J-Series. I don't think there's a lot of thinking that has to go on here. The only debate I would have is probably whether or not to attack, and it looks like he does want to. And J-Series, being aggressive, but Sneak more than happy to make the trade. And this is why, because he knows that Shinobi is out there. So he does prevent the Shinobi from coming in, but it is going to be simply hardcast. And, well, that's lovely. Going to simply cast the Wrench in Mind. Opponent had no cards in hand, but he knew he was going to have to discard them to the Shinobi anyways. So he just threw it out there. This is just a terrible place. Oh, nice top deck and a deadweight. This is just going to be top deck into top deck as both players have no cards in hand. J-Series hitting, God, what is this? We're looking at 7, 8 lands in the top 20 cards. That is got to be frustrating. Chittering Rats also not going to hit anything because Sneak has... What? Yeah, Chittering Rats, I get it. Unbelievable. Is my pronunciation not great? I'm being harassed. Now I've lost my train of thought. Unbelievable. Rager coming down, Wrench in Mind, not hitting anything. Oh, okay. All right. I see. I've been corrected. I take it back. He's right. The play on the Wrench in Mind is not because he's going to have to discard it anyway to the Shinobi. He's doing it because if J-Series hits the Chittering Rats, it will not go to the top of his deck. So he's right. I have been corrected. Far be it for me to question one of the heaviest mono black players, though he has kind of slipped into a burn habit these days. I'm not sure if he's even approaching those 8-mans, but again, a little thought coming out from JC here on whether or not he wants to attack into the Rager. Basically, any blocks here are going to act as a kill, and Sneak is going to take a chance on making the trade. Chittering Rat's coming down. And another wrench. So both of them obviously definitely doing as I expected and bringing in the 3 copies of Wrench Mine to try and decimate their opponent's hands, but being in top deck mode, I don't know who's at advantage here. I almost feel like it's Jay Siri. Just for the simple fact that he's managed to clear out so much more land, it's kind of decreased the odds that what he's going to draw into is going to be land. Nope, I guess I was wrong because he hits yet another land drop. I mean, Sneak's gotten some really great things going on for him, but he's only managed to draw turn 13. I don't know what's in his hand, but he's only managed to draw into 5 lands in 13 turns. It's definitely going to be, you know, top deck into land after land after land. But at the same time, I feel like for the same reason we're talking about the use of Chittering Rats, you would put down those swamps, wouldn't you? Right? It would be nice to see a late Crypt Rats here from J Siri with this much land coming into play. I think that would be absolutely hysterical if he was able to kind of keep himself from losing this game by pulling out that Crypt Rats tie. But Chittering Rat's going to come through, do a little bit of damage, and Unearth coming out. Rager going to draw an additional card here for Sneak and is going to put a land into play. 1 card still in hand. It is a Sign in Blood. Man, what an amazing draw here from Sneak. That is definitely incredible. 1 card in hand for Jade Siri. I mean, at this point when you're in top deck mode, it's kind of like there's not a lot of strategy goes into it. Obviously, you know, the Wrench Mine, that would have been a misplay by me. And this is why I'm just a mediocre mono black player. But, you know, at this point, any kills you can mostly throw out there because you're going to be just eating creature after creature. Oop, Unearth, Rager, draws a card, and it's a land. Wow. So we're looking at 4, 8, 10 lands in 30 cards. I guess that's about right. Unless, of course, you're Sneak and you've only managed to draw into 6. Oh, God, terrible math. 7. On the attack through, swinging with both. See if we get a block out here. There is going to be a trade here on the Chittering Rats. Let's just take a quick look here. Looks like both players are running a total of 22 lands. So 22 lands, J Siri has managed to hit almost half of those, cycling off a Polluted Mire to draw into, God, yet another land. So Crypt Rat's on the field. He's got to have some kind of kill going on. If this game's over, he's looking at least 5 damage on the activation of Crypt Rats. If he doesn't have a kill coming for either of these creatures, you know, after the attack, Sneak can simply activate the Crypt Rats for the win. Does he have it? A little bit of thought going on. I feel really bad for him because he's just gotten such a terrible draw. Is he just gonna stall this out? Oh no, it's Tendrils. Is he bluffing it? Yep, it's a Tendrils. Going to take down the Crypt Rats. Sneak choosing not to activate it. Clearly F6ing. If it was going to die, it was going to die. Yeah, clearly F6ing. I don't know what to say. 2 damage is 2 damage. You can't really complain either way, but it's going to take him down to 10 off of a Sign in Blood, and deciding to put out a Polluted Mire, maybe looking for his own late activation of Crypt Rats instead of cycling that away. So Victim coming down, kind of an interesting matchup when you see Mono Black versus Mono Black. For those of you who have not played it a million times or seen it a million times, this is kind of what it's like. I play a creature, you kill it, you play a creature, I kill it, and it passes back and forth and back and forth. Until someone finds some kind of edge. Ooh, and this might be it for JSeries getting his own Crypt Rats in play. And he's going to have, was that 8-9 land available. So if Sneak doesn't get a kill, he could attack and then activate for 10 for the win. 2 cards in hand for Sneak. Looks like it will be a Tendrils in response. JSeries is going to blow it up. That's what Sneak wanted to do on his turn, but F6'd through it. So it's going to bring both players down, but more importantly, will cancel out the life gain on Corruption. That's what Sneak was more concerned about on that 2 damage. Definitely getting very close. All of a sudden, the use of Sign in Blood is iffy at best. We've seen Sneak only use 2 copies, so if he does come into one, it'll be interesting to me at least to see whether or not he chooses to take that 2 life when you're down so low. 1 card in hand could be a kill. Might see a lot of draw go going on here between these 2 players. Oh, Unearth on Crypt Rats. This could be game, because there's nothing Sneak can do here. Looks like he's going to at least make JSeries activate it. If he chooses to try and kill it here, in response, JSeries just activates it 1 more time. Unless he clicked through it. Oh no, it's still going to happen. Okay, my bad. I mean, he could have still. It still would have resulted either way, but he could have, in response to the verdict, activated the ability for 4, taking him down to 1. Definitely a very, very interesting game, and we will see more of the same in the 3rd Sneak. Ooh, man, getting some really great draws I felt there, but JSeries able to really pull it out there, ties it up, and we're going to a 3rd game for this round. We'll have to see kind of who gets the better draw this time around. I mean, that's what I was talking about when you get these mirrors going on. It is just top deck after top deck. I, for one, am so burnt out on this particular match. Playing Mono Black myself, I have come across so many other Mono Black players. And you really just have to kind of understand the mirror and play it well. I play a little bit of a different version, but we will definitely see more of the same in this next game. Lots of creature kill, probably another Crypt Rats ending, and plenty of discard into top deck mode. So a little bit of thought going on. There we go, getting into this 3rd game. And hopefully Sneak will not have to mulligan all the way down to 5 cards. Oh, nope, dropping to 6. Off to another stellar start as JSeries keeps his hand. Thinking on whether or not to go to 5 here for Sneak. Lots of thought into this. Might be a sketchy hand. Don't be curious. The suspense is killing me here. Don't drag it out, man. You know, 10 minutes you do timeout, so yeah, exactly. All right, well, I'm gonna sit here. I'm gonna wait. I got no filler here, so Sneak keeps the hand. All right, so I have an only to drop to 6. Obviously not on the draw here. Going to be a little disadvantage, but not so bad. Getting that turn 1 duress evens things up a little bit. We'll have to see what JSeries has going on for him. Definitely a suspenseful last game here, especially if it ends up like the last one. Looks like it was Tendrils, Crypt Rats, Sign in Blood, Chittering Rats, Swamp, Shinobi Swamp. So we will probably see Swamp and a Sign in Blood on turn 2 there. Oh no, Sneak, you're killing me. So this is, I'm guessing, why he was debating so much on whether or not to keep the hand. Turn 3 passes and Sneak does not hit his second swamp. That is not good. And a Wrench Mine coming out, going to put him down a couple of cards there. I guess in his benefit, J-Series doesn't hit a third land there. If you have to find some silver lining. Turn 4 passes. Sneak does not find another one. Probably Crypt Rats. Okay, Chittering Rats coming down again, keeping Sneak off the land draw. And pass this turn along. Going to take at least 2 off the Rats. Oh man, that is tough to swallow. But we are definitely mirroring. We are seeing the same from last match, where J-Series was easily able to find a ton of lands and Sneak stuck on not finding as many. It's interesting how that works out, and you have 2 players in the same list. Does finally hit his. He does finally hit his second land drop here on turn 6. Kills off the Chittering Rats, but he's still going to face down at least a Rager. I do find it interesting he left in the Echoing Decay. I mean, again, it is a great card because, like Ravenous Rats, it's one of the few options we have in Pauper to really wipe a board. But the fact that you're running the mirror means that there's always a chance that you're going to be hurting yourself more to play it. And as Seaweaver says, if they lose this match, things are going to be on the ropes for Team Sneaky Little Green Men, because they will have left only their Elves player, and that is a pretty terrible matchup for Elves. I do find it a very courageous deck of choice there from Seaweaver, but I think he might have been better served with his Delver. So Chittering Rats going to keep J-Series as well off of a 4th land drop. Kind of interesting, both players here turn 7 only at 3 land. I mean, 3 is kind of a nice sweet spot for the deck. Going to keep J-Series, it looks like, off the land 1 more turn. So 3 is okay, you can get by on 3. Obviously 4 is going to be more important as you can find the tendrils and more from there. You know, the more mana, obviously, the more spells you can play in a turn. So Sneak going down to 11. 3 is going to be Crypt Rats onto the field. Sneak finding a 4th, maybe a Tendrils. Okay, Crypt Rats of his own. Not a lot can be done there, but it does provide a very interesting scenario. Again, both of these players currently have their own chance, at least, of taking this to a game 4 through the activation of Crypt Rats for a tie. So, both attack through, no blocks. Looks like we will see that Shinobi finally coming in, probably off the Rager, just so he can reuse the draw ability. Nothing really Sneak can do about that. Going to lose both cards in his hand, even if he decided to chump with any of those. Chump either of those, the Shinobi would still come in on the one he did not chump block. Looks like it's going to be better, or he's going to at least choose to simply take the damage, discard the 2 cards in hand, and probably use the Crypt Rats to kill that off. So, draw here. I'm going to just right away kill things off instead of waiting any chance for the Rager or whatnot to come down. Not trying to be greedy with that in any ways. Doesn't, allow a bigger trigger from the opposing Crypt Rats, at the very least. Really a tough spot to be in. Down to 5 life now. Again, puts things like, the draw on Rager and the draw on Sign in Blood out of reach. As the game progresses here, looks like he's going to put a Rager on the field, draw a card, down to 4 without a kill. Dress is going to help a little bit. Without a kill, it's looking like he's going to drop to 2, probably trade the Rager for 1. And maybe just concede out based upon J-Series' hand. If he has a kill spell, Gets rid of Tendrils. Oh, there is a Victim of Night. So that's going to be game over. Just going to concede out this match. J-Series going to take down another round, beating the Mirror and basically the creator of the deck, the proponent of the decks, say. And going to take it down to the third game. Going to have to beat Sea Weaver, probably a really fast match against Elves.